Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you very much for joining me again today for another card making tutorial. Now then, I'm going to make this card today using the Treasured Medallion stamp set. So this stamp set I actually requested as a little bit of a prize in a team challenge. Because I thought it was really unusual and I really wanted to have a little play with it. This features in the January to June mini catalogue. Okay, now that catalogue is still live. There are still products in there that we can get. Okay, and I think with the annual catalogue sort of moving forward in the year and being launched in May, the little mini catalogue seems to have been forgotten a little bit. So I wanted to pull out this set, and that's in the mini catalogue and still available right now for you to buy. Okay, so very intriguing set. I really like this lovely, almost like proper calligraphy font that's in there as well. So really nice sentiment. Say this is the image that I really wanted to use. It's a red rubber stamp, cling stamp. Okay, the colours aren't my choice. Again, this is all part of just a few challenges that are going on in our team at the moment, so that's where the colour inspiration came from. But I'm just going to show you how I've achieved the look I've got here. So the colours are crushed curry. So we've got a crushed curry card base here. Yellow is not my favourite colour in the world at all, so that's been introduced in the card base. Okay, and then we're going to layer up with our early espresso and our crumb cake. Okay, so those are all 1/8 of an inch smaller, so they layer up onto the background of the card right there. So we may as well get all this taped down so it's ready. Okay, somebody asked me about lining things up in a comment. So I like to have my cardstock sideways because it's further for your eye to sort of match up top and bottom if it's the long side. So I turn it down so I can eyeball this short side. Now if you're a right-handed person, I suspect you're going to be doing it this way around. Okay, so you'll have to just do what I do in reverse. Okay, and what I do is I hold it in my dominant hand, and this isn't touching the card at all. All I'm doing is putting this leading edge in those corners and just looking for that to be equidistant on those. And if those three are okay, just by process of elimination, the other side will be okay. All right, so I'm looking for this side to be even with the bottom edge there, and then the rest should take care of itself. Okay, so we'll do that again when we put it on the card base. Okay, so I'm going to have it flat on its side, and I'm going to look for this distance around these three points, and the top one has taken care of itself. Okay, right, so because I use the tape runner, kind of once it's down, it's down. If you are using wet glue, it does give you a little bit of a moment or two just to make sure it's all squared before you put it down. All right, so in addition to that, we've got what I call my mini layers. So this is the white cardstock here is 3 inches wide by 4 3/4, and then I've got another crushed curry mat to put in there, which is 3 1/8 by 4 7/8 of an inch. So not putting that down until we've got our focal image stamped. Okay, so I'm just going to we're going off the edge slightly, so just to protect my work surface, I'm going to put the my small grid paper underneath there just to protect that just a little teeny tiny bit. Okay, now I'm feeling like I want to just spin things a little bit, and I'm literally making it up as I go along. I've done crushed curry as my outline image for this medallion. Okay, and I'm going to throw in a wobbly, and I'm going to do the early espresso just to see how different it looks. Okay, everyone's got different taste when it comes to colour, so let's just give it a whirl, just see what happens. So it's a red rubber stamp, as you can see. All right, really beautifully fine etched stamp. I've mounted it onto an E-block. If an E-block is difficult for you to handle, a Stamparatus tool would be super duper. And I am putting, can you see there? Yeah. So I'm light tapping sort of in a circular motion to make sure I've got all the portions of that stamp covered. And if I turn it over, we'll be able to see that that ink has coated those portions, and hopefully you can see it glistening in there without reflecting too much on my stamp block. Now again, up to you in terms of quirkiness of angles and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be putting this about here. I think it's slightly higher than it is on the original, again just to sort of mix things up slightly, but I do like it just going off the edge there, and we're going to offset with the sentiment. So I'm putting on some straight down firm pressure. I'm not pressing hard at all, but I'm just rubbing over the image, making sure you hit the centre as well. And then we're going to hold down the cardstock and lift straight up, and we get a beautiful crisp line art image. Okay, isn't that really pretty? It's so gorgeous. It's a bit like I'm probably going to be totally off the ball there, but it's like you know, the henna tattoos, which are all beautifully detailed and stuff like that. Whoops, don't know what that was. Just think it's beautiful. Right, so I'm going to bring in a Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen. This is a water-based product, which means it is going to move the ink on my image. Okay, and so this I'm using just to one, add the glitter, and two, add colour to my stamped image without introducing any other stuff, basically. Now, just looking at this, I would say this is looking very much like crumb cake, the way it's watercolouring out, which is essentially what I'm doing. I'm basically watercolouring with my Wink of Stella pen. Okay, isn't that fab? Another way to use your Wink of Stella rather than just to add embellishment. Isn't that cool? So I'm just adding that here and there. I'm not being super careful, if I'm honest. And again, you know, up to you which bits you decide to do this with, but or you may not want to do this bit at all. It is entirely up to you. The other thing we could have done is, because we've stamped, this was a question as well, we've stamped with classic ink here, the classic Stampin' Up ink, which is a water-based ink, right? And we're using a water-based product, which is why we're getting the smudging, which we're using to our advantage to colour, okay? So if we were to try and colour this with the Stampin' Write marker, which is also water-based, it will smudge, just like this. Now it might be that that adds to the effect that you're going for, but it's not always a desirable feature. So if we wanted to colour this in, we'd have to use the opposite. So I would pick up a Stampin' Blend marker, which is an alcohol-based marker. Okay, And if ever you're unsure with the Stampin' Up products, it does actually say on the barrel of the pen there, ooh, focus, just try and get it to focus, there we go, water-based dye ink. Okay, that's the Flirty Flamingo water-based dye ink. And then if I take my polished pink blends marker, there we are, it says, oops, alcohol based ink. Okay, so that tells you directly on the product that that is a water based ink. I believe it says on the back of here, yep, so on the back of the Memento ink it also says that it's a water based ink. Okay, so you know. Do I have any stays on? I'm not sure I've actually got stays on. I don't actually use stays on, so I don't have a stays on ink to hand. Okay, but hopefully it should say on your products which whether they've got an alcohol or a water base to them. Okay. Gonna just add to those little doohickeys at the end there. Isn't it beautiful? I really love it. So you can, you know, go to town with this really. The longer you leave the ink, the less it will move as it dries. So that's another thing. It will bleed more when it's freshly stamped. So there you go. So that's looking lovely, I think. It doesn't take a moment to dry actually. The cardstock's absorbent, isn't it? So it'll dry in quite quickly. So we don't need that paper anymore. We can map this onto our crushed curry layer. So just put a couple of strips of adhesive on there, just to secure that. And again, looking at that short edge, look, okay, top, bottom and sides are okay, therefore so is the top. There we go. Alright, so that's cool, that's ready to go. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. So I'm bringing them in from the edges so they're less visible on the finished product when you look from the side. Okay, so that's another top tip for you. Okay, and then we're going to add some twine. So this twine is from the new catalogue, and you get 5 reels in there, which is really good. The white spool has got more on it, as I believe, but we've got sorry, it's not Whisper White anymore, Basic White, Very Vanilla, I think it's Grey Granite, Basic Black and Crumb Cake, all in one pack, which is fan-dabby-dozy, right? Fan-dabby-dozy. I'm just going to stick just a hint of that on the back there, just to help me secure the twine as I'm wrapping it round, and I like to go around 3 times. And we'll get that something like straight on there. Take it round to the back and secure that right there, and trim off our excess. Okay, keep that twine handy because we're going to need it again when we do our sort of finishing touches. And now we've done that, we can actually put this onto our card base. So I'm just going to take off those dimensionals. So these are really sticky, and of course they give dimension to your project. And once they're down, they're down. So just put like just a little dab of I don't know why my autofocus is going all crazy. Oh, don't stick your ink pad in it. Why is my autofocus gone crazy? Is it because I lifted that up for you? Oh, golly. How do I make it focus again? Has that been out of focus since I lifted up that ink pad? Trying to get it to follow the nope, let me just pause that and let me get that focus back. Right, there we are. Sorry about that. Right, so just a couple of blobs of glue on there will help me line this up, because the border is deeper, so you haven't got that same reference. It's not as easy when the border is deeper like this. So the glue on there just gives me just that moment or two, not long, just a little bit, just to make sure that that's as straight as I can get it. And straight is all very personal as well. How many arguments have you had about hanging pictures and whether it's straight or not? Okay, so there we have that. We're going to add some twine now. I'm actually going to do 3 lengths of this. You get loads on a spool. It's very inexpensive, so easily replaced. Just pushing that together, and we're going to push that underneath there, which I did first time on my sample, of course, but obviously, you know, the pressure of YouTube means that you can't do the simplest of tasks. Okay, I'm just tying that into a single knot. That'll be perfectly secure enough. Pull that nice and tight. Going to clip the ends of that off. Okay, and we're going to fray it slightly. So the way I do that is I use my take your pick tool, and I take one of the strands and sort of split the strand with my pokey tool and pull it apart. Okay, so there we are. Oops. It's kind of tangled itself back up again. All right, so we're going to do that with all of those. Just use that just to get those strands split. You can, if you just wind it sort of against itself and twizzle it a bit, you may find that it's easier. So again, I did this like in a matter of seconds when I was doing my little sample all by myself. Just splitting that. But it gives you a really nice effect. So this was something I saw somebody do when they were making some crochet dolls. So when they put the hair on, they then split the fibre just to make it look a little more realistic, and I thought, oh, that's a good idea. I can do that too in my paper crafting. So there we go. It just gives it a sort of softer look, if you know what I mean. It just takes a couple of minutes to do. Okay, so our sentiment is coming from the same stamp set. Okay, and we're going to use just some scraps that I've got. What have I got? I'm going to, I think I'll use I don't know whether I'm using espresso or curry for the outline. We'll decide in a moment. You Inspire Me, which we're going to do with our early espresso ink. It's a nice alternative to black, actually, if you're looking for something a little softer. That and grey granite, that's a very nice grey. to use instead, or basic grey actually. Basic grey is nice to use for sentiments. So there we go, you inspire me. Beautiful, right? And we're going to bring in the double oval punch. Going to slot that through to the plain oval there, get that lined up through that aperture there, and get that punched out. Easy peasy. And we'll cut an espresso and a curry one and see which we prefer, shall we? So there's the espresso one. And this is the curry one. I think it's going to be espresso myself. Yeah, we'll go with espresso. So just a bit of tape on our crumb cake piece. And because we've got the twine on the card, we need to pop this up, but we need it to sort of straddle the twine. So you can use mini dimensionals, or you can use like the edge strip. So when you have a sheet of dimensionals, you get all your nice hexagons, but you also get this strip along here. Okay, so once I've used all my hexagons, I keep all these little strips. Okay, and I'm going to use my sticky scissors. I'll call these my sticky scissors. So anytime I'm cutting anything like this, those are the ones I use, so that my snips stay glue free. Although if they do get sticky, top tip for you is WD-40 here in the UK. I don't know whether is it glue gun or something people have in the US, which I think is a similar kind of product. And we're going to, so those dimensionals are going to sort of straddle across that twine so that we can actually stick that down flat. And that is it, my lovelies. I'm not going to add any bling or anything. Ooh, now, tough call, I reckon, on whether I prefer the yellow or the brown on that one, if I'm honest. I'd love to know what you guys think. Which medallion do you think works the best? Very interesting. I do like the pulling out of the colour on the image as well, and just having that bit of twinkle from the wink of Stella, I think really makes a difference. Excellent. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. I hope you like it too. All the products are going to be linked in the description bar, so just click on those, it goes straight into your online shop basket. And I really do appreciate excuse me, you stopping by today. Sorry about the autofocus thing, but hopefully you caught what you needed to. Okay, take care everybody, stay safe, bye.